Your Miami Dolphins improved to 3-0 for a second straight season after beating the Broncos 70-20. One more time, the final score was 70-20. What a game by the Dolphins today. Getting into these stats really quickly, Tua Tagovailoa 23 for 26, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Of course, I'll talk about him in a little bit. Mike White even joined in on the action today, 2 for 2, 67 yards, and a touchdown in the running game. What a game by these two guys. Devon Achane, 18 carries for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert, 13 carries for 82 yards and 3 touchdowns in the receiving game. Tyreek Hill had a little bit of a detour on that road to 2,000 yards last week versus the Patriots, but he was back on track this week. 9 receptions, 157 yards, and a touchdown. Robbie Chosen, 1 for 68 and a touchdown. Raheem Mostert, 7 for 60 and a touchdown. Braxton Berrios, 2 for 33. Devon Achane, 4 for 30 and 2 touchdowns. Smythe was 1 for 15. Craycraft, 1 for 13. On the defense, Javon Holland had 2 forced fumbles. Emmanuel Ogbah had an interception. And for the Broncos, I'm not even going to go through that because they lost by 50 points. Russell Wilson actually didn't even have that bad of a game, though. Cortland Sutton, 8 for 91 with the touchdown. And then also I think Marvin Mims, the rookie, had a kick return touchdown. But that was it. That's all the Broncos needed to hear. I don't even know where to get started. But going into this game, the Broncos were desperate for a win. And they were 0-2 before this game. Of course, now they're 0-3, but they needed a win today. The Dolphins play in Buffalo against the Bills next week. So a lot of people were saying that this could have been a trap game for the Dolphins. I talked about that a little bit in the preview, but clearly not. The Dolphins were favored by 6.5 points in this game, and they won the game. They won this game by 50 points. I don't even know where to start. I wrote down a couple things, but I mean, it's not even important because everything went right for the Dolphins today, at least in terms of playing time, because, we did have a couple injuries today. Jalen Phillips went out, didn't return. Craycraft went out, didn't return. And Connor Williams went out and didn't return. Now, the Connor Williams I want to talk about really quickly. He played well today. He had 2 holding calls, I think, both on the same drive, which was kind of annoying. But other than those 2 flags, he played a good game. There wasn't any bad snaps. There was a couple bad snaps when Liam Eichenberg came in to play center. So that, it's Liam Eichenberg. I wasn't expecting that. Or I wasn't expecting good play. So, I was expecting some bad snaps, which is what we got. But the offensive line today was really, really good. Armstead, of course, was back. Kendall Lamb did a great job the first 2 weeks. I talked about that in the preview. Credit to him. He's going to be great whenever, unfortunately, it's likely to happen. Whenever Armstead or Austin Jackson goes down, he'll be ready to go. But Armstead looked really good. The whole O-line looked good. And all of our starters were taken out going into the fourth quarter. That's what I talked about with Mike White. He played the whole fourth quarter. Tua did all that in only 3 quarters. That is just insane. There's so many places where I can start in this game. I could start in the middle of the third quarter, and there were still 2-3 touchdowns that were scored. There were 2 touchdowns that were scored with our full backups, and we took out Armstead. We took out literally everyone. Like, on offense and defense, we took out all of our starters. It was a great sign to see. I'll talk about the biggest thing, obviously, today, and that was the fact that we were a field goal away from scoring. The NFL record for points in the game was 72, and we had 70 points, and we drove down to inside the Broncos 30-yard line or 35 around that area, and it was 4th down, and we decided to take a kneel and turn it over on downs instead of kicking that field goal. Now, I respect it. I fully respect it. It's a classy move by Mike McDaniel. He would have received a lot of criticism if he kicked that field goal. Of course, everyone would have been talking about it. The Dolphins scored the NFL record for most points in a game, and yada yada. It was, Sean Payton said that Tua would be benched by week 6, and instead he was benched because he blew the Broncos out, which is what happened anyways. But still, I like the move by McDaniel. Now, I would have supported it also if he kicked the field goal, and records are meant to be broken, honestly. So I can support both sides of it, but at the end of the day, classy move by Mike McDaniel. I love seeing that. I'm sure he did gain a lot of respect around the league, but getting back into this game, because, it was just a fun game all around. There wasn't any weak spots at all today. I think the worst part today was, I take that back. The worst part today was that the Dolphins didn't have a single sack. Actually, I think that we may have had 1 sack, so I might be wrong there. The Dolphins get to Russell Wilson so many times. We did have 1 sack. Okay, it was the Emmanuel Ogbah sack. The Dolphins pressured Russell Wilson a ton. Now, we created so much pressure today. We made him roll out of the pocket a couple times, and that's where his one touchdown pass actually came. It was blown defense by Xavier Howard. Great play by Russell Wilson and Cortland Sutton on that connection. But we need to finish the job when we create the pressure. Next week, when we go to Buffalo, Russell Wilson sits in that pocket. Now, of course, he's athletic. He's not as athletic as he used to be because he's older, but he can still run out of the pocket. But going to Buffalo and playing Josh Allen, if we can't convert the pressures to sacks with Russell Wilson, dude, I don't know what we're going to do against Josh Allen. The Commanders had 7 sacks against Russell Wilson. We only had 1. And the Commanders played the Bills today, and they lost 38-3. So, we'll see what this defense can do against Buffalo next week. I'm really excited for that game because that could really determine the AFC East. At least that's also what we thought last year when we were both 2-0 playing each other. But this game's huge because it's in Buffalo, and then of course we play Buffalo at home in Miami week 18, which could be irrelevant at that point, or it could be like the division determining game, if that makes any sense. But obviously we won't know until very later in the season. But a very big game next week against the Bills. And let's talk about the defense for a sec. Like I said, they need to convert the pressures to sacks, especially when they face the Bills next week. But everyone played so well. Javon Holland had a game, like I said, 2 forced fumbles. Both of them were on Cortland Sutton. I felt kind of bad for him. But it was just, he was not protecting the ball at all. The run defense was good. There was a couple runs at the beginning of the game where Javonte Williams broke a couple tackles, and I was like, what are we doing? But at the end of the day, we won the game by 50 points, so it's nothing that we can like go back and be like, what were we doing? There's not much to say, honestly. The Dolphins just played insane today. Now, one thing that I actually want to bring up is the running back group, because Devon Achane looked incredible today. He looked. I said in the preview, right? I said in the preview that Jeff Wilson's out. Of course, he's on the IR. He comes back. Next week is the last week he's missing. He'll be back week 5 versus the Giants. So he'll be back in 2 weeks. Salvon Ahmed is going to be out today. We'll see what Devon Achane does. I said maybe we'll see him get a couple of touches behind Raheem Mostert as the running back 2 after he made his debut last week in Foxborough. He did a lot more than just a couple of touches. I forgot what the stat is. I literally just said it 2 seconds ago, but I forgot. But 4 total touchdowns on the day for Devon Achane, and those were the first 4 touchdowns of his career. I can't even. If someone told me that Devon Achane would have 4 total touchdowns today, I wouldn't believe it. That is just insane to me. But this is exactly what I want to talk about. What are the Dolphins going to do when Jeff Wilson comes back in 2 weeks and Salvon Ahmed comes back in next week or the week after? They have Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Salvon Ahmed. Those are 4 running backs that deserve snaps, and I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have to cut. They're gonna end up cutting Chris Brooks, probably bringing him back to the practice squad. But those 4 running backs, Ahmed, Wilson, Mostert, and Achane, they all deserve playing time. So I don't know what the plan is, because they can't cut. I guess maybe you can try to make a trade for a draft pick or something, but those 4 guys, it's great that we have this type of problem where there's too much talent, but we'll see what happens. Maybe one of these guys ends up being a healthy scratch here and there. But Devon Achane absolutely exploded today, and I really did not see it coming, so kudos to him. Raheem Mostert, honestly, was running back 2 today, I'm not even going to lie. But, of course, he did his thing. He had 4 total touchdowns as well, 3 on the ground, 1 in the air on that 3rd and 7 play. But, wow. I'll talk about Tua for a sec, because, honestly, he didn't really let the ball fly. Now, on that 3rd play of the game, that 54-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill was completely blown coverage. The safety that messed up the play was the safety that's filling in for Justin Simmons. That's why I said in the preview, losing Justin Simmons on this Broncos defense is going to be such a big hit for them. And the Dolphins attacked that on the very first drive, and that's, turning to 7 free points. So, they had their injuries, but with Justin Simmons and Frank Clark, this Broncos defense is not. they're not making up 50 points that they lost by. You know what I mean? So, it was of course a pretty big hit for them, but they weren't slowing down 70 points. Now, I made a video last week after I didn't make a deep dive into the Patriots game because that game didn't really deserve a deep dive to me. But I made a video with the title, "Are the Dolphins the scariest team in the NFL?" And I think I'm gonna end up making another video tomorrow with the title, "Yes, they are," because this Dolphins offense looks like the best in the NFL. Jalen Waddle didn't even play. I never even mentioned that in this video yet. Jalen Waddle didn't even play in this game, and we put up 70 points. Fans are mad that we didn't go for the record, but the way that we played today, we should put up another 60-point game before the end of the season, 100%. Thinking about teams that we play the Giants week 5, we play the Panthers week 6. There's not really many bad teams that we play. Of course, we played the Jets, but they have a really good defense. So do the Patriots. So does Buffalo. We play the Ravens. They have a couple injuries, but I don't see us going for that many points against them because their offense is too good. We play Dallas later in the season, and the Cowboys are a team I wanted to talk about too. Not really in this video, but quickly mentioning that they lost to the Cardinals today. So I think the 49ers and the Dolphins are clearly the two best teams in the NFL. But staying strictly on this game, I don't know what else to say. What a game by the Miami Dolphins. I'll probably have a deep dive into this game or some other type of video coming tomorrow, but I don't really have much else to say. The Dolphins looked like the best team in the league. They put up 70 points on this Denver Broncos team. A good game coached by Vic Fangio in that revenge game. Bradley Chubb wasn't he wasn't the MVP of this game, but he did have a good game in the run defense and also the pass pressure. And Tua in his revenge game versus Sean Payton, what a game. Butch Berry's the offensive line coach. The O-line didn't let up a single sack. You love to see that. Tua may have gotten pressured like once or twice. But overall, great game from the offensive line. Credits to Armstead, Isaiah Wynn, Connor Williams, and I guess Liam Eichenberg, whatever, Robert Hunt, and Austin Jackson. But, yeah, man, what else is there to talk about? I'll have a deep dive, I guess, maybe if I can think of more stuff, but the Dolphins win this game by 50. 70-20 is your final score. We're 3-0, number 1 in the AFC East, the only undefeated team in the AFC because the Ravens lost to the Colts in overtime, and one of the only undefeated teams left in the NFL. So, yeah, man, we'll be back tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.